Hello, Sagittarius. Thank you so much for being here, you guys. All right, Sag. So I think for some of you right now, you're trying to be like the peacemaker here. And this may be really bad advice, but the only way that you're going to muse right along is if you open up and speak your truth. I think you need to say something and then just boom, I'm done. I'm out. But like right now, I think some of you are like, oh, it's okay, but really it's not. So from Shadows and Light, you pulled Violet Duchess, stifled, bored, and stuck. But then from E, musing right along. But the only way you're going to get to that point is if you actually speak up. Now, this card is saying, though, that for some of you, you may be in a really, unfair situation. And it's not anything that you want to be a part of, but rather than, being who you are and being blunt and direct, it's like you're trying to be the peacemaker here. And it's really saying that, don't worry about, being the troublemaker is what it says. You need to, warm up here and just, word vomit almost. You need to say the truth. You need to speak the truth, especially if you're tired of a situation or tired of trying to be nice about it. Now, musing right along. It says, might as well write your acceptance speech. Your creative mojo is in rare form. Inspired ideas, brilliant schemes, and colossal plans are streaming in from every direction, courtesy of your inner muse. Get out a bucket and drink in the sweet nectar of inventiveness and fun. So, yeah, if you're in a bored situation, then you need to be who you are. All right, Sag, here we go. Here's your overall for the week. Wow. Really? Man. Death. Scorp. All right, so with the death being the signifier, definitely a situation that's coming to an end, but it is, you being the phoenix, right? Which is what I love about this deck. It shows it as the phoenix. I mean, yeah, it is judgment though too, but, and I'm telling you, this seems to be the major theme this week. Everybody is going through this major change and needing to change themselves. But, the other thing, though, too, with death is you can't stay with a situation that needs to be over with, right? You can't cling on to something that has to absolutely be done. But it is about you needing to change yourself, right? Now, it may be a situation that is over with that may be changing, though, too. And coming back up, which seems to be the other thing that's happening a lot. But let's see here. So now in the past, so you got Scorpion Leo going on. Strength though. And again, I go back to the Oracle cards and think, you've been pulling on that inner resolve here to continue dealing with a situation that just is not making you happy. Now, and it's good that you're still pulling strength, but I always question why. Why are you needing to pull on your inner resolve? What was it that you were going through in the past that this is the issue, but with strength, you're talking about gentle force, but I'm not feeling that right now. That's the past that needs to change now. Maybe there needs to be a little bit more force when it comes to something. In the present, the Ten of Pentacles. So, despite whatever may be ending and changing, with the Ten of Pentacles being there, definitely we could be talking about the end of security and stability, but I don't think that that's what it is. I think it's more about, you finally accepting things that need to be over with and changing, but, right now you're in a place of stability and security. But I'm waiting to see what's going on in the environment, but, that's the focus right now. If you're going through a major ending and going through these big changes, then how is that affecting the stability and security? And then pulling on your inner resolve to keep things grounded and stable despite, whatever big changes you're dealing with. Future conditions, the Eight of Wands, it's quick. Things change boom, right? Now with the Eight of Wands, communication does come up, possibly travel. But it's fast. It's things happening quickly. But the other thing that I point out too with this is that when you go through these kinds of changes, it's all of a sudden everything just kind of falls into place where it needs to be. But things are going to be all of a sudden, boom, and here it is, right? And I'm still looking at that Ten of Pentacles. Why? Why does it have to involve where you feel secure? Why is it that that has to change? Your best path to follow, the King of Wands. Yeah. So, and I'm going back to the Oracle cards and feeling like there needs to be a little bit more inspiration in your own life. Like, you know, I've always said when it comes to this, first of all, Saggy, of course, but needing to be more adventurous. The King of Wands charts his own course. You know, and I think that some of you are in a situation where you've been like trying to keep the peace, but like something is going to drastically change when it comes to that. And I think that you just need to be a little bit more like adventurous. But then not only that, but I feel like you need to be more secure in what you end up eventually moving on to, because I also feel like moving on, moving away, musing right along, right? Oh, shit. All right. So with the Three of Swords being in your environment, and this is what you're dealing with right now, and this is what's affecting stability and security. So with the Three of Swords, heartbreak, separation, betrayal, it's needing to get past this and get to a place of forgiveness and understanding. But it also needs to be completely over with, and over with in a big way this time. You know, but then I also feel like for some of you, it's something that you're still dealing with, but then it like coming back up. Because with death being the overall, I feel like you're still working on this. Like accepting the fact that, you know, that something is going on in your environment that just is not good at all, and it's affecting your security and stability. I don't know, it bothers me. I mean, clearly here you felt like a situation was secure, but all of a sudden things just happen immediately. And for you, I think it's going to be difficult. I think you need to allow the changes that need to happen. And I say that because of the King of Wands being your advice, and clearly that's you. But I don't think that you need to be nice anymore. Like, you know, and I mean that in a way where you just need to speak your truth and stop like trying to keep the peace. Because clearly here, like it's over. It's over. But it happens so quickly. But then I'm wondering how, you know, what that means coming out. Your hopes and your fears, the Chariot. So it may be surrounding you needing to actually physically move. Now, with the Chariot, though, being hopes and fears, it really is about willpower and self-control. You know, the willpower here to actually accept that a situation is final and over with, and like getting back to a place where, and confidence seems to continuously be showing up for everybody. Everybody is going through really drastic changes, that I can tell you. But the way that this is happening for you is that it's quick. Like it's quick, and I feel like it's going to be over with, but I worry about your ability to move on because of it, like throwing, you know, your safety like off. Like I feel like that with the Ten of Pentacles, like, you know, you're secure and safe where you're at, but something is happening that's like changing that. You know, and are you accepting the changes? Now, like I said, with the Chariot, you know, it could be that you're fearing that you're going to have to like physically move and like quickly. But, you know, I think it's really about you getting better control over the way that you're thinking and feeling about a situation. And like coming out of this place of like trying to keep the peace with a bad situation and just like come out with it. Man, sad. Oh, and then coming out, the sun. Wow, look at it. With the sun being there, I like it, especially with this going on here, because I feel like you get to a better spot, you know, the sun, right? Everything being brought out into the light of day, seeing everything for what it really is. But moving into a place where you feel better, like you feel better about the fact that something is like completely over with. But the thing is like it's difficult anyway. The Lovers and the Seven of Pentacles. And then the Fool, I'm telling you, I feel like it's going to be easy for you to just, boom, gone. Like, all right, Like, I'm done trying to hold on to my inner resolve on this and try to keep the peace. Like, it is what it is, and I'm just going to come out and say what I need to say. It's definitely over with. You are changing in a big way, but it's bringing you back into the light. But everything is happening quickly. But then I also feel like, there needs to be like a major move. But then, like I said, with the Chariot, right? Like, getting control, better control, and picking up the momentum quickly and moving the hell away from this as soon as possible. Now, with the Lovers, we could be definitely we could be talking about a major relationship that may be coming to an end, or it's changing. Now, also, right, major choices that are happening in terms of relationships as well. Major choices in your life as far as where you're being pulled between temptation and doing the right thing. The Seven of Pentacles, though, you're looking at it differently. If you're dealing with, a really difficult separation that's affecting, your own security and stability, like, I think that you start to look at it differently. Like, maybe I wasn't really getting what I wanted out of this anyway. Because with the Fool, I'm out. Like, I'm out. But with the Death being there, what I feel like is it has to be, like, it absolutely has to be over with this time. It can't be something that you go back and look at continuously and then, like, struggle with making the choice on it, But, like, with the Fool coming out, definitely taking a brand new path, needing a new path here, not knowing what's going to happen, but having faith in the fact that everything's going to be fine for you, especially with the Sun being there. And maybe this is something that, you need in order to get back to where you're back to who you are. But wow, man, these readings have just been like, and unfortunately, you guys are like no exception here. It's crazy. All right, let's take a look and see what is going on with your relationships. Now, like I said, with the Lovers, we could definitely be talking about the ending of a long-term relationship, possibly. But for some of you, it's just like the major life choices that you're making now. And again, right, general readings, not going to apply to everybody. The reason why for singles you're needing to keep an open mind is with the Three of Swords, you may be dealing with a person that's needing to get the balls to get out of a situation that is no longer making them happy. What I worry about is when I look at this, I mean, you've got this person in the background that I look at it as almost like they're trying to, like, cause something to happen, right? Like, I worry that this is either you wanting and wishing for a relationship to split up, but the fact that you have keep an open mind, maybe that it's either that you're dealing with a person here who needs to get the balls to get out of a bad situation and really start making the connection with you, or you need to keep an open mind at the fact that maybe this is not your soulmate. If they can't get out of a relationship that they're not satisfied with, rather than doing something that they shouldn't be doing. And I'll leave it at that. For couples, forgiving and learning, the Six of Pentacles, somebody's not happy. This one to me is like somebody sees this. They see it, they understand it, but they're not doing anything to fix the problem. So somebody is dissatisfied, they're bored, they're not getting the attention that they want. But the other person is not doing anything about it. They're not, like, trying to be more giving as far as the relationship goes. And that may be where there needs to be some healing, right? Like, somebody may not be paying attention to your needs or you them. But wow, Sag, I do think that for some of you, you are not stable in a situation that is upsetting to you. And I do think that there is a need for you to accept that that's over with. But then I also feel like there needs to be major changes for you in getting back to who you are. But then also be willing here to take a new path and trust that, with the Sun being there, that you're going to be brought back into the light. All right, Sag, so big endings and big changes happening with Death being the overall on this. But I do like the fact that you come out with the sun, regardless of whatever is going on. It's like you're being brought back into the light. You know, and I think that things are moving into a better place for you, but like whatever is ending, there is difficulty surrounding it. And I think for some of you, it has to do with either your security and stability or like possibly with family issues with the Ten of Pentacles. But I don't like that the Three of Swords is attached to this. It's going to be difficult. But things happen like really quickly for you, and your advice is to be you. Be adventurous. Be who you are. Chart your own course. But like you're hoping and fearing the big change or the big move that some of you may be having to take here. And again, everything is like happening quickly, but wherever you're headed, it looks like things are going to be a lot better. Now, what's funny is that I was looking at the Violet Duchess and musing right along. Both of them are number 18. And I just now noticed that you're talking about 9 and being close to the end of a cycle here where it gets completed out. Like you're just about there. Now, as far as your clarifiers for the sun, when you're looking at the Lovers and the Seven of Pentacles, you know, it really could be that some of you are making a really big move here in terms of a love situation, which is possible. But like, you know, reevaluating the decisions that you make in terms of relationships. But, you know, with the Fool coming out, like, I feel good about it. I feel like once you speak up, again, with these two, once you speak up and stop trying to keep the peace, like you're going to get back into a better place, right? You're going to be able to move right along or muse right along, right? But then also needing to tap into that creative mojo for sure. You know, and now I can understand why strength is coming through on this. But like, I do think that some of you are going to have to make a really big move or a really big change. But everything is going to happen quickly. But it's going to be good coming out with the sun. Now, as far as relationships go, keep an open mind, and then the Three of Swords. Now, you may be dealing with a person here, and the reason why you're needing to keep an open mind is because they may be already involved in a situation, and it's like keeping an open mind as far as like whether or not they're going to get themselves out of that, because really the Three of Swords is about getting out of a dissatisfying situation. Right? I mean, yeah, it can show cheating too, but I don't know. If you're single and you're dealing with somebody, you know, before a commitment can be made, it's like they need to get out of that first. Them or you. Now, as far as couples go, forgiving and learning, and then the Six of Pentacles, needing to forgive and heal the past instead of being at this place where, you know, you feel like you're not getting the attention that you deserve. You know, I almost feel like some of you maybe need to speak up about how you feel, that, or, you know, the person that you're with is feeling this way and there's a need for forgiving and learning. But somebody is not getting what they want, and it's a problem, you know. And like I said, with the person in the background, it's like they know and they see it, but are you willing to work on that, or are they willing to work on it? But man, you know, I'm telling you that this is going to be one of those weeks where everybody is like going through something major and drastic, it seems like. And you are no exception, especially with death being there. But it is the ending and the rebirth of you. Like seriously, with all of these showing up, I do think that you're going to move into a better place. Especially in terms of relationships or making major choices when it comes to, you know, where you place your security and stability within a relationship.